the season to be jolly. Yeah, I know. You
Kill me every time with a new pun.
Yes. Well done. As we gear up for New Year's Eve, you're quick too. You need something to toast with as the ball drops. So if you have champagne taste on a lemonade budget, we brought in certified sommelier Adam Knoerzer back on the show with some good options. This is great.
So good to be back. And you're right. We are often all in that quandary of having that kind of champagne taste without the budget. But I'm here with a solution.
Okay. What do you have?
So the solution is there are several regions and types of sparkling wines in France that are made like champagne, but because they're not from Champagne, they can't be called that.
Well, and explain that to people at home, because I just learned this recently. There's only one region that specifically makes champagne. If it is not made there, it is not champagne, right?
That is absolutely correct, because that's what the laws dictate. But you can get champagne-style wines at a much more affordable price point, and that's what we're talking about here today. Now, your clue is to look for these words on the label. Méthode traditionnelle, or traditional method. That tells you that the wine is made in the style of champagne. Meaning, they create a base wine, they put it into the exact bottle in which it's going to be sold, but then they add some yeast and sugar, cover it with a crown cap like a beer, and slowly invert it so it collects in the neck before they ultimately get rid of it, and it gives you that toasty richness that you like in champagne.
And that's how you get the bubbly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so tell me about this one that we're going to try.
Yes, so this one comes to the from the region of Limoux in the very south of France. Now, they've been making sparkling wine here for around 450, 60 years, 100 years before Champagne even got started.
Wow.
Now, this one's called Blanquette de Limoux because Blanquette is the local name for the grape of Mosaic, which makes up this blend. And if you smell it, notice it's like dried apples, lots of rich creaminess, and if you give it a good old swirl and a sip,
so good.
Delightful.
So good.
You've got that same style of champagne, really citrusy, lots of apple, high acid, and a touch of toastiness.
Now, tell me, I have had a champagne headache before. Is this going to do the same thing?
Shouldn't. And one reason that you're going to probably avoid it is you'll also know the word brut, which is dry in French. That means that there's only a minimal amount of sugar added. And in fact, it doesn't taste sweet, but it seems a little bit drier because of the high acid to offset all that sugar.
So tell me about the different variations then. There's brut. Is there another version that you can get?
Absolutely. So there's something called extra brut or brut zéro, which means there is no sugar added for your driest. What might be confusing is if you see the word dry on the label, it's actually sweet. So I know that's a little bit confusing. If you are looking for something maybe along the lines of a fruitier bubble, turn instead toward Prosecco, which is made in a different method than this and is thus fruitier and more floral in character.
This is really interesting. Okay, so what would pair well with something like this?
The nice thing about this kind of bubble, and really all bubbles if I'm honest, is that they go with anything. This is a great aperitif, it goes with any of your light fare, but it also can be your accompaniment throughout the meal, especially if you've got poultry, ham, anything along those lines.
And I really do love this, but can you pour some OJ on it if you wanted to do
a mimosa? So here's why I would say not to do that.
Okay, tell me why.
When you make it in the traditional method like this, the yeasty character is very prominent in the finished product. Instead, I would suggest Prosecco because they're made in the tank method, so the yeast doesn't really have much of an influence on the finished product, much more fruity in character, and so your grapefruit juice for your mimosa, your orange juice, maybe even peach nectar, if you're feeling fancy like a Bellini, go for Prosecco instead.
Okay, this is delicious. I always learn so much with you, and I wish people at home could see your shoes.
You know, I bring the sparkle not just in the glass, but also in terms of the footwear as well.
I don't know, are we able to capture? Yeah, could you take one off? Just take it off and just show people at home. No one's gonna judge.
Well, listen, I'm very free of judgment, and in fact, I match the set and I match the bubbles in the glass, and so that's what we're here to do.
They're perfect Christmas slippers.
Amen.
Thanks so much.
Of
Cheers
course.
to you. Happy 2024.
And to you as well. Cheers, everybody.
To find out how you can book Adam for your next event or have him teach you about wine pairings, you can head to our website, kdka.com, for more information. KDKA, what is our website? Talk Pittsburgh. Thank you so much. It's a Thursday. You'd think I'd have it together. So we're going to have that on our website. Coming up on Talk Pittsburgh, New Year's resolutions look a little different for parents, how your goals can set your kids up for success in 2024.